Good evening and welcome to Queer News Tonight, PrideFête edition. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily evening television news, broadcasting live and available on demand. Available on all smart televisions including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news. It's Thursday, August 3rd, 2023. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we are going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
Welcome to Queer News Tonight, PrideFête edition. I'm Jameer Baptiste, the event manager of Hotspots Media and Happening Out Television Network, and executive producer of PrideFête, an LGBTQ+ Caribbean Pride Festival.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ+ evening news show. Whatever happens unique in the LGBTQ+ news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Media Happening Out Television Network is a non-for-profit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ+ community. Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbians, and queer women, trans, students, youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS, healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest nonprofit 501c3 LGBTQ+ media companies in America, Hotspots Media and Happening Out Television Network. Our magazine is celebrating 38 years of the LGBTQ+ experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ+ and broader community.
Queer News Tonight dedicates entire broadcasts to special communities and themes throughout the year. Tonight, this is Queer News Tonight PrideFête edition. On August 12th, South Florida will celebrate PrideFête, a celebration LGBTQ+ Pride Festival in Wilton Manors, a Caribbean one. This news broadcast is dedicated to our special Caribbean and LGBTQ+ culture and news that revolves around the issues South Florida faces with the world's largest communities from the Caribbean living right here in South Florida. In the gay agenda, South Florida, PrideFête Art Gallery celebrates LGBTQ+ artists August 5th. Hotspots Happening Out Art Gallery with Dennis Dean presents and celebrates artists from the Caribbean and their art in celebration of PrideFête, an LGBTQ+ Caribbean Pride Festival. The event will take place August 5th at 6 p.m. The gallery is an innovative art gallery highlighting a revolving display of artwork and talent each month. The PrideFête Art Gallery event will feature many talented artists. The event is sponsored by Sterling Accounting. Don't miss the PrideFête Caribbean Pride celebration at Wilton Manors Richardson Park on Saturday, August 12th from 6 to 11 p.m. Find out more at hotspotsmagazine.com. Next, let's welcome Queer News Tonight PrideFête anchor Sobourney Barnes. She has Bahamian roots and is a well-known activist and leader in the LGBTQ+ community. She served as an original organizer of the Caribbean Pride Festival. Sobourney also serves on the PrideFête Planning Committee.
Today in the gay agenda, South Florida, PrideFête after party at the Manor, August 12th. Noche Latina Saturdays presents the official after party for PrideFête. The event will take place on August 12th and will start at 11 p.m. Noche Latina Saturdays are the premier Latino gay dance parties in South Florida. The Manor Complex will be hosting the event. The Manor is South Florida's mega nightclub with 3 rooms of music and spectacular entertainment. The after party will feature Yesia Jovovich and Angie Openness Price. The after party celebration will invite resident DJ Duniel and Go-Go Pappas to make sure the music is upbeat. If you are a Florida resident, you'll be able to enjoy the event for just $5. For tickets, visit pridefete.lgbt. Don't miss the PrideFête Caribbean Pride celebration at Wilton Manor's Richardson Park on Saturday, August 12th from 6 to 11 p.m.
We welcome Queer News Tonight PrideFête anchor Richard Forbes. He is a stage and lighting technician for the Lauderhill Performing Arts Center. He is a novelty performer and designs jewelry as his own Rich's Delightful Collectibles. Richard also serves on the PrideFête Planning Committee.
In the gay agenda, South Florida. PrideFête's party celebrates Caribbean culture at Escape Lounge, August 11th. Escape Lounge in Fort Lauderdale will hold a celebration party for PrideFête to honor our rich LGBTQ+ Caribbean culture. The party will be held on August 11th and will feature a performance by Miss PrideFête Bella, along with raffle tickets to give you an opportunity to win an upgraded PrideFête VIP ticket. You can also purchase a pre-sale PrideFête general admissions ticket. Escape Lounge is the epicenter of Fort Lauderdale entertainment. The 4,000 square foot venue complex features 2 floors and 3 full-service bars and a balcony overlooking downtown Fort Lauderdale. The event sponsors include Anthony Wynn Entertainment, Rails Entertainment, T Promix, and Knick-Knack London. Tickets can be bought at pridefete.com. Don't miss PrideFête Caribbean Pride Fête celebration at Wilton Manor's Richardson Park on Saturday, August 12th from 6 to 11 p.m.
Next, let's welcome Queer News Tonight PrideFête anchor Kishi Chad. He has Jamaican roots and is the project manager of Cuba. Cuba educates same-gender loving men of color on issues of health and wellness. He is community captain for Vive Healthcare's Accelerate in Action program. Kishi also serves on the PrideFête Planning Committee.
In the gay agenda, South Florida. PrideFête Artist Showcase celebrated August 20th. Hotspots Happening Out Art Gallery with Dennis Dean presents and celebrates PrideFête through the Artist Showcase. The event will take place on August 20th from 5 to 8 p.m., featuring the work of Leslie Ann Fry Thomas and Sheena Omari. It will also showcase installations by Jaime Ricardo Rodriguez. The venue is an innovative art gallery highlighting a revolving display of artwork and talent each month. In the showcase, you will also get to witness the work of Franz Seffervrin, Akada X, and Andrew Holliman, and others. It is a must-visit program for all art lovers within the city. Don't miss the PrideFête Caribbean Pride celebration at Wilton Manor's Richardson Park on Saturday, August 12th from 6 to 11 p.m. Find out more at hotspotsmagazine.com.
We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight PrideFête edition, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBT community in South Florida and across America is diverse, and our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Thursday, August 3rd. Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. PrideFête celebrates LGBTQ+ Caribbean pride in Florida based on diversity and inclusion. In today's Queer News Tonight PrideFête special edition, we are joined by anchors who are in one way or another connected to the LGBTQ+ Caribbean prides in South Florida. Wilton Manors is getting ready to celebrate PrideFête, an LGBTQ+ Caribbean festival that honors the music, food, and spirit of the Caribbean culture in a safe space for the LGBT community and their allies. The festival is organized in partnership with Hotspots Happening Out and Pride Fort Lauderdale, with the city of Wilton Manors as a partner. On the occasion of the event, the intersections of Caribbean queer people coming to South Florida to live their life, culture, and values they stand by. Intersectionality is the recognition that everyone has their own unique experience of discrimination and oppression. By taking into account people's overlapping identities in terms of gender, race, class, sexual orientation, physical ability, and more, we can better understand the complex prejudice they face. According to the Rainbow Railroad, over 40% of all calls around the world for help escaping a homophobic or transphobic country come from the Caribbean. Point Community College scholar Acacia Garvey is helping and advocating for such immigrants. Garvey is a Black transgender first-generation immigration student in Florida. PrideFête helps focus all of these issues and celebrate the diversity of the community and our LGBTQ plus community. PrideFête Festival begins on Saturday, August 12th, and brings us a month of fun and diverse Caribbean events, from pre- and post-parties to gallery exhibits, television shows, and more. It is a must-attend celebration of inclusion and love, something we all need right now. This is so...
Let me see you raise your hands and put them in the air. Put them in the air. High, high. Let me see you raise your hands and put them in the air. Put them in the air.
So right, diversity, inclusion, and inclusion is so big in our community, but you add the Caribbean community to that and it just makes it that much bigger. You know, like the diversity amongst the Caribbean community. It's not like the British or Irish where it's just one set culture. You know, there's just so many cultures, and it makes it that much greater to understand and realize that we're a melting pot, right?
Yeah.
100%
agreed. It's amazing. And it's honestly one of the things I love about Pride as a whole, is that it's so much about inclusion and diversity in our community. And then PrideFête, I'm like, yay, I get to be Caribbean and queer all in one space.
Yep.
It's great. And just to have that opportunity, especially when certain people don't want that in our state,
And let's be honest, you know, like within our community, the LGBTQ plus community, we have that diversity that exists, but sometimes that marginalization still arises and still is prevalent. You know, like the Caribbean community doesn't have a collective, cohesive whole that you see with the LGBTQ plus community. Wouldn't you agree?
Completely. That's why we have this event, to celebrate all of that. You know, we have it to celebrate ourselves, those who maybe can't come out, never got a chance to come out, and for all the progress that we're making. So I think all of what you said is valid, and I always look forward to seeing who's going to come out as Caribbean. You know, I've said this before, like people we've known in the Caribbean for years, we've been at their events, we've been to their parties, but we don't know their heritage, their cultural background. This is their opportunity where they're like, okay, hey, guess what, y'all? I'm Bahamian. So,
and that's such an interesting point you make, because, like, for instance, Richard, you're Jamaican and your patois accent, your Jamaican accent comes out here and there. But for us, you know, Kashai, you're Jamaican, Sobourney, Bahamian, me, Haitian, and Trinidadian, but we don't necessarily have the cultural accent to back it up, you know? So we're kind of in the stealth of being Caribbean until we could actually like wave our flag and say, you know, we are those Caribbean individuals. And I just named a mixing pot of us right here, you know, 2 of us Jamaican, 1 Bahamian, 1 Haitian, and Trinidadian. That's just a small portion of the diversity that exists, you know? So to have that in our community and then get to celebrate it is just amazing, because normally in these traditional environments of the Caribbean community, you don't get that mix of LGBTQ plus, right? So it's cool that we have the moment to really not only express ourselves as Caribbean individuals living within the gay community, but gay individuals living within the Caribbean community.
Also getting to support one another.
Right.
Yes.
Not done a lot in, you know, Caribbean countries.
Right.
We just-
Right. And what's awesome is just to see us be able to embrace each other in a safe space that normally you wouldn't see in areas. And it just, I love it so much that we have that. And it's really awesome, you know?
Next, let's queer up LGBTQ plus civil rights. PrideFête looks at the state of buggery and why so many Caribbean nations still criminalize same-sex. Male-to-male sexual activity continues to be illegal in 11 Caribbean nations. Female-to-female sexual activity is illegal in 7. The Caribbean region also has some of the world's most severe punitive laws relating to homosexuality. The region has the largest collection of countries in the Western Hemisphere that considers every same-sex association illegal. The anti-gay legislation in the English-speaking Caribbean is derived from the British 1861 Offences Against the Person Act. The Jamaican law, for example, retains a Victorian flavor, while only 25% of non-Commonwealth countries criminalize same-sex activities. Almost 80% of ex-British colonies maintain anti-buggery and anti-sodomy laws. Jamaican activist Dadland May says, the sodomy laws are legislative hate gifts given to Jamaica by its colonial master, England. But is there a hope for change? Has the situation improved significantly since 2016, when Belizean gay rights activist Caleb Oronso won his legal challenge to a section of his country's criminal code? Well, yes and no. In a landmark judgment on December 12, 2022, the Supreme Court of Barbados issued an oral ruling that struck down colonial-era laws, criminalizing consensual same-sex relations. In the same year, the Antigua and Barbuda High Court of Justice struck down the legal provisions that criminalize same-sex relations. St. Kitts and Nevis High Court also ruled that laws criminalizing gay sex are unconstitutional. However, there is still much work to be done in many Caribbean countries, but there is little doubt that for queer people, the Caribbean is still one of the world's most difficult places to live and exist. I'm an advocate for buggery.
I'm buggering right now. No, I kid. But this is no laughing matter, right? You know, it's insane how colonialism has brought so much just deprecation and hate into our communities, you know. And I can't remember, I can't put my finger on it, but I do remember most recently reading a article in regards to that LGBTQ plus experience wasn't necessarily celebrated, but it wasn't hated or looked down upon in certain islands until colonialism happens. And they're the ones that brought that in. And that's what your report was basically saying, you know, that they brought these anti-sodomy and anti-buggery laws, which basically means the same thing as sodomy in a way, right?
No, it's just, like you said, it is sad that, in a sense, this puritanical colonialism came and took away, to me, what, okay, I'm just going to say it, call spade to spade, what would be very joyous and fun for people to actually partake in, just living their lives. And it hasn't just hit in terms of sexuality, but just how it is that we represent ourselves, we show who we are, and we're criminalized for it for no reason.
And one of the things about this report that really stands out to me is that we tend to always look at discrimination and homophobic in that male-men aspect, but we saw that female is also thought of as illegal as well, you know? And a lot of times you just look at it where the females get to do what they want, the women are easily accepted, but that's just not the case, you know?
Not at all. It's really bad, but we're gonna move forward and we're gonna hope for the best because things are changing. So now, next, let's queer up gay culture. PrideFête celebrates Caribbean Carnival costuming, body positivity, and queer community. There's nothing Caribbean people love more than a fete, or festivals for those who are not in the know. PrideFête celebrates everything that is both Pride and Caribbean, creating an inclusive space for communities who may not feel as safe and free in their home countries. PrideFête will bring Caribbean culture tailored to an LGBTQ plus audience to Wilton Manors on Saturday, August 12th from 6 to 11 p.m. Staged at Richardson Historic Park and Nature Preserve, the event will feature music, food, art, DJs, drag queens, local queer performers, carnival drummers, and masquerade performers. Usually, most Pride events take place in June to commemorate the 1969 Stonewall riots in New York City, a pivotal moment in gay and lesbian history. But most of the past iterations of this Caribbean LGBTQ+ festival have taken place in May and August. This is the second year the festival will be produced by Hot Spots Happening Out, best known for Hot Spots magazine. The festival is for the Caribbean LGBTQ+ community, its culture, struggle, and fight. Hence, every participant is welcome to dress in the traditional spirit of their Caribbean area, wear your feathers, wear your rhinestones, and come to party. With the end of slavery in the 19th century, the populace of the region was allowed to celebrate their native culture and their emancipation through dress, music, and dancing. These three factors continue to remain central to their way of celebrating festivals. Their culture is about accepting their true self, beliefs, and choices. This spirit connects Caribbean culture to the LGBTQ+ community and brings them together and even closer. Now, I'm going to be very honest. I never took part in a festival until I was in my mid-20s. And I really was surprised at just really the body positivity of it all. I was very used to having to like cover up. I was so scared. I'm like, oh my God, nip slip. Oh my God, there's fat here. But going to my first ever carnival in Dade County, I actually got to see people in different sizes, and they're just so happy and joyful, and everybody's having a good time. Everybody's dancing. And when I tell you, that has taken away so much of my own personal shame that now it's to the point I'll just start stripping, and people are like, oh my God, don't do that here. I'm like,
I love that. I love how it aided you in the ability to say, you know what, that personal shame has subsided because of my community showcasing body positivity. And, you know, sometimes I think about it, I don't know if it's really just a mode of organic understanding, you know, because it's like we're in these environments that are very hot in the Caribbean, you know, so the less you wear, the better, you know. So we're going out and celebrating. I want to like research that history more to see where that comes from, because if you do look at Caribbean culture, you know, for everything that we're not, we are body positivity and body non-shaming, because really if you go to Caribbean and carnivals, you know, you see everybody dressed in very sexy attire, looking and loving each other equally without any discrimination in that aspect, you know?
If anything, in my own opinion, I think it's like, I feel like people show their own sense of royalty. You know?
I love that.
It shows, it gives them an opportunity to show that bigger side of themselves, that royal, the kings and queens that they are, and empower who they are.
Yes, definitely. And Kashai, you do a lot of costume design with the Caribbean community. I know I leaned on you and also Richard a lot for our masqueraders and things like that. What do you think about it, like in terms of just being able to show your body and love who you are and not discriminate or hate on anybody else at the same time?
Well, growing up, attending Carnival, it surely helped me appreciate different body types. Like I literally love, I'm just an admirer of bodies, and I appreciate the confidence that it takes for someone of any size to wear these costumes, because literally they're hanging on by a thread a lot of the time, you know?
But by a thread.
You think about it also with costumes, it gives off that extra aspect of the person's aura itself.
Right, right.
You know?
And it's something totally contradictory to what it is in America. You know, we're all about, you know, putting on the clothes, making sure you're dressed proper. There's a certain place and time for everything. And in this aspect, the place and time to look great is there, you know, to wear what you want, to feel how you want, to love what you want.
yes.
All of it.
Yes.
All right.
Perfection.
Next, let's queer up travel. PrideFête celebrates what makes Caribbean food so unique. If there is anything the LGBTQ plus community loves more than music, it is food. And if it is a Caribbean delicacy, most of gay Florida loves it. The Caribbean islands are full of beauty and are home to many different cultures. Over the centuries, people have migrated to the Caribbean from different continents and added their own tastes and cuisine styles to Caribbean food. Caribbean food was founded by the Arawak, Carib, and Taino Indians. But over time, the British, French, Spanish, and even Africans have contributed to its foundation and turned it into something entirely different and unique from anything else in the world. Caribbean food is very rarely oily or deep fried. In fact, the way of cooking in the Caribbean is one of the healthiest you will find, as they don't use butter or added oil in their cooking. One of the reasons the LGBTQ plus community loves it. When you travel to the Caribbean, one of the major hallmarks is the food. It is a product of amazing cultures, healthy cooking, and a wonderful blend of ingredients. Based on rice, beans, and other plants, it can be spicy or not. South Florida is home to a large Caribbean community and has now become an integral part of Florida. PrideFête, an LGBTQ plus Caribbean festival, which will begin on August 12th, is a perfect way to honor this vibrant community. The festival will leave delicious Caribbean food, music, drinks, arts, programs, and more. Yes.
I can't wait for this.
So, I'm just going to go ahead and say what I love. I mean, obviously, I mentioned earlier, I love Trinidadian doubles. I also really love pickles and banon from Haiti.
Oh my God.
And I do love, well, I'm vegetarian, so like vegetarian mofongo from Puerto Rico, and of course, Jamaican patties.
The food is so delicious. When I tell you, I honestly love, like, if anyone is gonna make fried conch or conch salad, if it's a Bahamian woman at the helm or anyone Bahamian, I'm like, I'm gonna eat that.
Right.
And I know, oof.
And it's
flavors. I'm
so
hungry,
crazy how many of my American friends have never tried Caribbean food.
What?
Really?
Yeah, and I take them to like the small places here and there that are in our community, and they're like blown away. They're like, "This is delicious," you know, and it's amazing. Like, like pickles. I'm not so much of a spicy person, which sucks because I'm Caribbean and we cook with a lot of spice and spicy food and stuff. But I can't help but to enjoy pickles, especially on fried plantain. You know?
Yeah.
What's your favorite, Richard?
I have to say Donna's, but also like, yeah, I love to go to Donna's, and all my friends that I bring there, oh my God, they love the food and they have lunch specials. Or can you go and get food for like $6.99? I get a full
Especially like Caribbean food,
good
right?
portions too, you know.
Because you're not getting it like Chinese where they're piling it on. You know, you need to have
Exactly.
that special budget.
Especially if it's oxtail. I'm gonna call out Dutch pot, y'all. I'm
Ooh.
mad. No,
Oh my God.
You get a whole thing of rice, you get a little bit of salad, and then you get like 2-3 big pieces, and I'm like, I paid $24.99.
You better put some more oxtail on this plate.
Give me more. Give
You
me
know-
more dumpling with this, damn it.
You know what's lovely with oxtail? Not more so than the oxtail, but the sauce. You know, like
On everything.
right? That's-
What's that saying? I put that shit on everything.
it's delicious.
I'm
No,
so hungry,
but
y'all.
it's amazing how rich the food is and how great the culture is, and again, just to have people experience it, because if you haven't been to Jamaica, if you haven't been to the Bahamas, if you haven't been to Haiti, Trinidad, and all the rest of them, you know, just experiencing the food alone is something to
It could
be in.
change your entire day.
Right, for real.
Can make you happy.
Next, let's queer up the worldview. PrideFête looks at queer Cuba and why LGBTQ is doing so well on the communist island. As Hurricane Ian approached the region last year, the Cuban government announced that about 66.9% of the voters with valid ballots were in favor of legalizing LGBTQ plus marriage and family planning. About 2/3 of the population voted to approve reforms in a new family code, which will also allow surrogate pregnancies and give gay couples the right to adopt children. It marked a big moment for Cuba, which saw gay people persecuted and sent to work camps in 1960s and 70s. The referendum was for a new family code, a 100-page document that went through more than 24 drafts and hours of debate in community-level meetings. Cuba's government backed the law change and ran a nationwide campaign urging people to approve it. Official attitudes towards homosexuality on the communist-run island have changed over the past decades, partly thanks to the efforts of former leader Raul Castro's daughter, Mariela Castro. More than 700 same-sex marriages have been celebrated in Cuba since the new family code was approved in a referendum last year. The Cuba National Center for Sex Education, CENASEX, has played an important role in this battle against LGBTQ plus phobia. The progress shown by the country is even inspiring for the gayest place on the planet, Earth. South Florida has the largest Cuban community of any place in the world, and PrideFête is a perfect festival to celebrate the LGBTQ plus progress in Cuba and the Caribbean LGBTQ plus community across the world. We have such a beautiful opportunity here. And it just to take a moment to just recognize that, especially with PrideFête. And hey, Cuba, go ahead.
But
Thank
can
you,
you
Cuba.
believe that we're actually talking about something positive with Cuba? Because
Yes.
in America, you're so used to hearing the negative aspects of Cuba. We just talked about Raul and his family in a positive way. It kind of makes me want to go put a mic in front of a Cuban gay Republican in Miami and be like,
Ooh, you want to go there? You want to go there?
what do you think of this? You know, because it's so interesting that a place again that is normally talked about in such negativity in America is doing something so incredible for our community, and you can't deny that. You know that they're doing something incredible. Have any of you been to Cuba?
Not yet, unfortunately.
It's on the
Have
list.
you?
though.
Yeah, and no, I haven't been, but I would love to. It was unique in my family to speak about the Cuban experience, because when there was negativity a lot about Cuba and its history and things like that, my family always stayed on the fence about talking about some of the positive aspects about Cuba. Like, for instance, the revolution really came about because of how they treated dark-skinned people in Cuba, you know? So the fact that it was liberated against that oppression, but then saw a dictator and it fell back into a hurtful place is interesting. But to celebrate LGBTQ plus love is lost on so many Caribbean communities, is lost on so many communities just across the globe, that to know that a Caribbean environment is really pushing forward for it, you know, to see that percentage, you know, and then they did a campaign on it. Like, I want to be in that campaign. like let me put on a fat outfit.
Oh,
Wait, PrideFête in Cuba.
Ooh, okay.
You've been PrideFête.
I'm available.
I will go to that.
Right?
Yes,
Right? Let's
here.
call,
I'm right
let's
here.
call the sister.
Ooh.
Let's call it, ask if we could come.
Right.
But next up, let's queer up travel. PrideFête considers LGBTQ plus travel to the Caribbean. The Caribbean, a region of island paradise with sun-soaked beaches to relax on and hunky pirates with eyeliner sailing around, is the perfect place for any LGBTQ plus vacation. While the Caribbean culture and nature are attractive and worthy of every cent you spend, the countries in the region are often not so LGBTQ plus friendly. Hence, it is important that while you go wild on Caribbean beaches, you should know some facts about the region. Given the homophobic reputation of the Caribbean, it's very far from everyone's idea of paradise. Despite the laid-back reputation, the countries here are often hostile to the gay community, and the discriminatory laws in place have proven hard to repeal. But there are some of the best gay-friendly Caribbean islands that you can visit, such as Puerto Rico, Martinique, the United States Virgin Islands, the Caribbean Netherlands, Aruba, St. Bart's, the Mexican Caribbean, Curacao, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic. Though the gay laws are not friendly in this region, it's a stunning area of the world with lots to enjoy, and the more exposure to communities that LGBT community has, the more you would hope attitudes change. Miami and Fort Lauderdale are home to the 2 largest cruise ports in the world, and for LGBTQ plus travelers are an excellent and safe way to experience travel to the Caribbean. This is exactly what PrideFête is trying to do by celebrating Caribbean culture and letting the LGBTQ plus community of the Caribbean know that they have been seen, heard, and cared for. Now, I'll admit I'm Bahamian, and I do feel sometimes a little bad that going to the Bahamas as a queer person is difficult. Like, I go with family and it's always a good time, but I do love that there is change that's happening, that there are places I can go. For example, I definitely want to go to Cuba after learning more about the changes that they have made. And the island itself, from what I heard from so many people, is so beautiful. It's amazing.
Right.
It would
The
be a joy to
rich
go.
colors. We have some of that in Wilton Manors with what's that building that has the rainbows and stuff
I
like
think I know what you're
that.
talking about. I'm forgetting the-
And I feel like every time I pass that little area, that complex, it's like Cuba, you know?
Yeah.
But let's talk about this eyeliner pirate. What?
I mean, we all have that Jack Sparrow fantasy. We all want a Pirate of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Just come
Yeah.
support with
Come
us.
to
Where is
Buggery.
the port? Oh God!
Or better yet, a Keira Knightley coming. I don't mind. I'll go. Like,
Honey.
let's go, baby.
You're about that light.
Right.
No, but awesome. Like, what Caribbean countries have you been to?
Oh, well, I've been to the Mexican Caribbean. I've been to the Bahamas twice, Jamaica 10 times, Puerto Rico, Turks and Caicos, and I'm sure I'm forgetting one.
So we found our tour guide.
Yeah. But I would say my time in Puerto Rico was unforgettable, and their pride, their orgullo, is the same weekend as my birthday. So hotspots happening out, Puerto Rico. I also am voting for that.
And
Yes.
speaking of Arguello and one of the Spanish, where is it that Unity Coalition in Coelba, which is one of our community partners for PrideFête,
Right.
where is it that you guys do your event at?
So this year we have Celebrate Orgullo, which is happening from the 1st to the 15th of October. And most of the events are going to be in Miami. We're going to have a gala on the 13th in North Miami at the Spanish Monastery. We're also going to have Art Diva bus tours, basically a drag queen that's going to come on a bus tour, and we're going to do a cultural tour of Miami highlights. And we're also going to have workshops on the focus this year is on like religion, art, folklore.
You guys
It's gonna
travel
do that.
to like the Caribbean sometimes.
Right, yeah, we go to the Caribbean, and we also have a base in Colombia as well. We have Coalición Unida in Bogota. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I
Interesting.
do hope you guys partner with History Miami Museum for all of your
Oh,
historic,
Bridget.
especially tours. I'm
No,
gonna
that
plug
would
that.
be cool. And I see my country is one of the 2 Caribbean that my heritage is Trinidadian and Haiti. And unfortunately, no one's going to Haiti right now. And if you are, be prepared to get kidnapped or something of those sorts. So the travel isn't the best there right now, but I remember going as a child, and it's just a beautiful experience. You know, don't let anybody touch your hair, but other than that, other than that.
I'm like, wait, people trying to touch the hair in the Caribbean?
Well, you know, we have like voodoo there and stuff like that. So there's very superstitious.
Got
so,
it.
you know, don't let anybody touch your hair. Things.
But I have heard that Haiti has some of the best beaches.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's interesting. They raped our land, but what can you say?
The truth has been spoken. All right. Well, next we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
Well, that is today's LGBTQ plus news and headlines on Queer News Tonight, PrideFête edition. Our mission supports the 10 pillars of the LGBTQ plus community, including the culture and diversity of our Caribbean and queer people of color that is so important to our South Florida community.
Hotspots Media Happening Out Television Network presents PrideFête, an LGBTQ plus Caribbean Pride Festival, on Saturday, August 12th at Wilton Manor's Richardson Park on Wilton Drive.
Join more than 1,000 guests as we celebrate Caribbean queer culture with live entertainment, exotic costumes in the spirit of Carnival, unique foods, and so much more.
PrideFête is presented by the generosity of Black, Spark, and AHF.
PrideFête celebrates the diversity of 33 Caribbean nations that are as diverse as our LGBTQ plus community.
PrideFête will be from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. with dynamic and fun pre- and post-parties.
General admission and VIP experience tickets and more information is available at pridefete.lgbt.
Welcome to PrideFête!